Hello everyone, I am Dr. Prachi Kulkarni, Fertility Specialist, Ferty9 Fertility Center, Banjara Hills. Today I will talk about embryo freezing. Embryo freezing is an important step in IVF. Most of our IVF cycles, we go for frozen embryo transfers, which means that in IVF cycles, we create the embryos, we freeze the embryos, and we plan a transfer in different menstrual cycles. So after egg pickup, after preparing the embryos are frozen. We wait for the patient's periods. On periods, we start doing the uterine preparation for embryo transfer, and we thaw the embryos before putting them back. So embryo freezing is done with the help of embryo freezing media, and these are the straws on which we freeze the embryos. So usually we go for day 5 or day 6 blastocyst stage embryo. So day 5, day 6 blastocyst stage embryo, on one straw we freeze maximum 2 embryos. If we are freezing day 3 embryos, we can freeze around 3 embryos on one straw. Why this number is important? Because when we plan the transfer, we want to plan for the success of IVF and also the safety of pregnancy. So if I am planning my embryo transfer with maximum 2 blastocyst embryo, I should freeze 2 embryos only on one straw. If I am freezing more than 2 blastocysts on one straw, when I thaw the straw, then I have to thaw all 3 embryos. So if I'm thawing all 3 embryos, the third embryo, if I'm not going to transfer, it might get wasted. But day 3 embryos, because we can transfer maximum 3 embryos in one time, we can freeze all 3 together. But if somebody is planning for single embryo transfer, it is advisable to make that decision before you freeze your embryos. So whenever we are explaining for single embryo transfer, which is more safe compared to double embryo transfer to reduce the risk of twin pregnancy, we discuss this at the start of IVF cycle and also on the day of freezing of embryos. Because if I'm planning single embryo, we should be freezing 1 embryo per straw. So when I'm thawing the straw, I have to remove only that particular embryo. If I keep 2 embryos on one straw and if I want only one to be transferred, after thawing the remaining embryo, either we have to discard or refreeze. So refreezing will also involve the cost, and repeated freezing thawing to the embryo may slightly reduce its quality and chances of implantation. So it is very important to take your decision about embryo freezing and embryo transfer at the start of your IVF cycle, or at least on the day of embryo freezing, so that you can plan properly and you can proceed with your IVF. I hope this was helpful.